Hello, this is the 2011 Exam 2 Networks question 3. So let's do it. We've got a table. I'm not going to read that whole thing. I guess you can read it if you want to for context. The duration of activity B, EST, etc., etc. So we've been given a table. We've not been given a diagram. Usually with questions like this, it's nice to draw one. We're going to do that. I'll have to keep flicking back and forth so I can draw it. Apologies for that. So activity A and B have no immediate predecessors, so they're going to start first. It also seems that A and B are the immediate predecessor of C, and no other A and B combinations anywhere. So I suppose the technical way, or the technically correct way, I believe, would be to draw them like this with a dummy. So activity A there, activity B there, and a dummy. I think conventionally we tend not to sort of do them as loops, but it doesn't really matter for a question like this because we're not being asked about the diagram itself. It's just to help us. So the duration of A is 1. So we've got A is 1, and we don't know the duration of B yet. C comes after A and B. So C comes after A and B with a duration of 1. So I've got A and B and C checked off. D comes after C, E comes after D. So D comes after C, E after D, so it goes D then E. So we have a nice little straight line going on. So D, E. The duration of D was 1 and E was 2. Okay. And then F, G, and H all come after E, and then they meet at the end. So we've got F, G, H, F, G, H, all coming after E, and then they all meet. So again, I think convention would dictate we have to include some dummies there. And then we have our last activity, which is I. So, F has the duration of 1, G of 4, H of 1, I of 1. So that's 4, and then the rest are all just 1s. Seems that's it. Okay, so we've been asked the duration of activity B, and we know the EST of activity C is 2. So the earliest possible time I can start this activity is 2. And A takes 1, which means that B must take 2. Right, because I have to be delayed, so it has to be written in such a way that I couldn't start C until after 2 hours have passed. With activity A with a duration of 1, I could start after 1, and A and B are the only immediate predecessors, so B would have a duration of 2 there. EST of activity D, this guy here. So we have an EST of 2 to get here, plus 1, so it's going to be 3. Once the water has been turned off, activity B, which of activity C to I could be delayed without affecting the shortest time? Oh, antivirus. Okay, so after activity B, which activity C through I can be delayed? Okay, so it looks like the only ones that can be delayed are going to be F and H. So the critical path through this graph is going to be the B because it's longer, and then the C and the D and the E, and then the 4 is the longest route. So the only ones that can be delayed are these ones here. So it's just going to be F and H. It is more complicated to replace the broken pipe E than expected. It will now take 4 hours instead of 2. Activity E will now take 4 instead. Okay. Determine the shortest time we can complete the project. Sure. So it's just going to add 2, right? So whatever our original completion time was, it's going to add 2 to it because our critical path has been delayed by 2 hours, or days, or weeks, or whatever it was. So 2, 3, 4 plus 4 is 8. Plus 4 plus 1 is going to be 13. So it's going to be 13 hours, right? So it's going to take 13 hours now. So it originally took 11 hours. Turning on the water to the showgrounds, activity H will also take more time. It will now take 5 hours. So H will now take 5. Okay. with the increased duration for H and E, determine the shortest time. Okay, so they've both been increased. Increasing H by 4 means that the critical path now does this instead. And so comparing to the 4 here, to get from this vertex to this vertex, it would have taken me 4, but now it takes me 5 via activity H. So that's increased it by 1 hour, and we already knew that the completion time was 13 hours, so now it's going to be 14 hours. And that's it. So that's the question. Hope that helps. I'll see you in the next one.